net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, 87CYM, Western Washington Amateur Television Society. It's a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, Google WW7ATS. Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, where you'll find a little bit of information about our club, the frequencies we transmit on, and also there is a link to YouTube, where we stream our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, pausing in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before the net gets underway. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's 08 machine, 147.08, with a tone of 103.5 for our communications that we have during our net. So far, checked into our net this evening is Lee in 7KC. We have Richard, K7ITX. Myself, Dave, KD7CYM. And we have Larry, KI7GST, joining the net this evening. Is there anybody else that would like to check in? We'll open the net going to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, very good. This is Lee, November 7 Kilo Charlie, and I'm in Port Angeles. And hey, Richard, how am I doing? Okay? Okay, thumbs up from Richard. Very good. Well, with just basically 4 of us here tonight, it's going to be a pretty snappy, get to us pretty quick. Well, anyway, Dave, first I want to comment, did I say, yeah, it's, I have to comment on your video tonight on Skype. It's just stunning. It's really quite nice. So, I'm curious, since unless you put a green screen up, how you got that really pretty background to work. And maybe they've made some changes in the program. I don't know. But anyway, there, Larry's got some video now. Good show. And otherwise, everything, we're in water. We're water, well, not exactly rationing yet, but we're at stage 2 of 5 here. The river's been under 400 cubic feet per second for several days. As soon as it dives below 1, we go into 1, and now it's down to where it's been a couple of days below the next level, so we are in stage 2, which just means don't wash your car, don't water your lawn, stuff like that. And I don't know how much further it's going to go. We haven't had any rain in a long time, and we do get our water from the Elwha, so there you go. Oh, I just noticed I didn't start my timer, so I'm flying blind here. Let me say that we had enough wind the last couple of days to spin that wind generator. Oh boy, when it gets up to about 8 or 9 miles per hour, it takes off. And we had gusts, extended gusts to 12, 2 or 3 times. Was it yesterday or the day before? I don't have it hooked up to a battery. It's just freewheeling. But boy, does it go to town. And without a load on, it doesn't make any noise at all, even when it's really spinning. So I was very pleased about that. Anyway, with that, Dave, it's back to you. This is N7KC Lee in Port Angeles. Good.
KC, let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Hi, everybody. I'm hoping everyone can hear me okay. Got a fair statement? Okay, good. I get a nod from Lee. Thank you. And welcome to Larry, KI7GST. I haven't seen him or I've talked to him recently, but it's probably been about 3 or 4 years, and he's looking really great. So good to see you, Larry. Looking forward to meeting up with you in person in the very near future. Now, Lee, I will comment on the wind. We're getting a little bit of wind too. However, I'm pretty excited about my barometer. This kind of a chintzy. Well, I won't make fun of it. It's a present, Father's Day present from my daughter. But it's the first time I've ever had any kind of barometer, and so I thought and I think I've probably shown it a couple times on the net. But what I like about it is not necessarily the exact precise reading, but the graphical display as if it were, coming out of, paper or a machine. And so I'll just give you a glimpse of what I'm talking about. If you could just stand by, I'll get my other camera and I'll walk over and I'll show you guys. So I won't have any audio, but I'll have this on my other screen and just give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Stand by, please. I hope you got to see what I was talking about. It's usually a pretty flat line, but I'm pretty excited when I see any kind of a slope. Not so much when it's, and of course on the right-hand side is the current, and the left-hand side is the past. So I've seen it going up quite a bit. I've seen the pressure rise, but this is my first real glimpse of, it's been dropping steady ever since probably about 11 o'clock this morning. So, and then it's calling for rain. I don't think it's good. It might rain. I know you could use a lead. That's for darn sure. So anyway, Lee, so you can hear Larry. I'll make sure over the air, and we'll get them fixed up as soon as possible with the correct tail tone. With that, my goodness, this is K7ITX, back to net control.
7ITX, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Oh my, we got 59 degrees outside. I had a busy week. I got one of those letters from the city that said I have a tree that's interfering with a garbage truck in the street, and I need to have my limbs trimmed up to 14 feet in the air. And I got to admit, they were overpassing a little bit into the street. So I got a hold of a tree guy that I'm familiar with. He came over, climbed the tree, and took out about 8 or 9 branches on the lower 20 feet of the tree, eliminating that problem. And we cut the stuff up, and I've got it in 10 garbage cans. It's hard to believe those limbs, once they're cut up, do compact in. So that's been my goal, to get that out of the way. And it's been kind of overwhelming cutting that stuff up, getting it ready to go. But hopefully I can get it into the trash in the next 2 or 3 weeks and get it gone. So hopefully that's it. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. I've been watching the UW Michigan State game. Right now, Michigan's 28, UW's 39, 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in the game. And it's been a really exciting game today. It's been go, 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 and UW's got one heck of a new quarterback that can really get the ball where it's supposed to go. So it's been a pleasure watching that game. So this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and for ID, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Net, I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's see if we can pick up Larry, KI7GST.
This is Larry, KI7GST. You copy?
Welcome to the air.
Dave got walked off by the repeater.
Larry, thanks for joining the net.
Thank you for having me. I don't have the faintest idea what I'm doing. Just part of my learning experience. And I'll go to your website. If I understood correctly, I can actually see YouTube videos of past and present. KI7GST.
And GST, thanks for joining the net tonight, Larry. And when you say you don't have the foggiest idea, I think we're in that same ball game, so don't feel strange with that. It's a neat hobby and a lot of things to learn. Keep it going. So, is there anything else Larry wants to bring to the net?
No, as long as you allow me, I'll keep checking in from time to time, see what I can learn. I promise not to push myself on anyway. KI7GST.
And GST, Larry, thanks with that. Let's see, I also had a notification that Bert, N7CS, wouldn't be with us this evening, and also Ron, KD7QKU, doing a pre-birthday party tonight for his birthday tomorrow, so we wish him well in that function. So that takes us back up to the top of the list to Lee, N7KC.
Okay, very good. Well, here I am again in 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Well, yeah, Dave, you got to, I don't have a green screen, and I just took a look at the video backgrounds, and, you know, I mean, I could add a slide or something to it, but without a green screen, I understand it won't work very well. So I'm very curious, Dave, how you got that lovely picture behind you there. Looks like Mother Earth with something rising in the background. And Richard is up there. Richard is immersed in the Aurora Borealis. Holy smokes, you know. Be some critter come down and grab you, Richard, before you know it. My golly, I don't have a whole lot. I worked on the shed project today. I got I framed the new door and so forth, and I got that done. So I'm trying to get something done every day before the rains really come. I'm getting pretty close now. I have to make a door. I'm getting pretty close to getting it, but and I'm working in the garage, and I see Richard or James just showed up and is looking mighty sharp tonight. My gosh, and it's good to get you in here, James, because we need another soul. It's just too darn fast coming around. Anyway, I don't have anything else, so I'll send it back to you, Dave. This is in 7KC. I'm Leon. I'm in Port Angeles. Go ahead, Dave.
KC, and your answer is no green screen. It's all in the software with Zoom. Just go up to those three little dots on the upper right-hand corner. Press on that, and you'll see a menu that will allow you to have about 6 or 7 different screens behind you. You can blur your image, or you can have backgrounds. So just go to those 3 little dots in the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom screen. That opens up the field for making choices. On you there, Lee.
Dave, Lee again. I do not have 3 dots. I've got 9 dots, and beside it it says View on the upper right hand, and on the left I just have the green shield and it says Original Sound Off. So apparently, and I think the latest version of of Zoom, so I don't know what you're seeing. Something's different. So there you go. Anyway, back to you, Dave, in 7KC.
In 7KC, it's in the picture, not in the header in the Zoom program. You'll find it on your picture that you have in your frame. Unmute, or 3 dots, and then when you hit the 3 dots, that'll give you a menu that comes up.
Just right-click on yourself, on your picture. Just right-click on your picture. That's how I first found it, and then it says you can set your background. So you try that.
It says there are no virtual backgrounds available for me. I mean, that's what it tells me. It's got video filters, but I don't want video filters. They're kind of silly. And so the background, and I have I do not have the box checked that says I have a green screen because I don't have one. Do you have that box checked, Dave?
Choose my virtual background. That's what I've done. Choose video filter. Then you have a PIN number you can enter, or a hide self view, or add profile picture, or rename your name. That's the options that I have with the current software I have. The genie is with us tonight. Who knows what happens? Possibility you need to update your Zoom. I mean, mine seems to update about every 2 weeks, and so this showed up in the last update, which is about 2 weeks ago, and so I chose the background. First I blurred the image, and then I chose the background. So that's what's happening. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
And then I'll right click and then the menu pops up, if you can see that, and then you probably can't read it because of unmute my audio, stop video, blur my background, choose virtual background, choose video filter, add pin, replace pin, so on and so on, but it's the choose virtual background. I do that, and I can, what's this, looks like maybe the Golden Gate Bridge, I guess. Yeah, there we go. So, and look at James. There we go. So anyway, that's how we figured it out. And there's a lot of funny things you can do with it. So, but anyway, I'm really kind of, I don't know. I guess I want to be worried about the water shortage in Port Angeles. That doesn't sound like very much fun. But I don't think it's gonna stay dry too much longer. Except you guys aren't in that rain shadow, or maybe it's Squim that's in the rain shadow. But it seems like Port Angeles, you guys definitely do. You get this shadow effect. That's right. Okay, and then some other weather news. Oddly enough, hurricane has traveled all the way up from the South Pacific into the Bering Sea. Yes, I know, it's pretty freaky. And they've declared the Alaskan government has declared a state of emergency for flooding. They've had the highest tide, like in NOLA, the highest tide since 1974. And well, I'd hate to live in Nome and have a flooded house, let me put it that, or anywhere for that matter, but Nome in particular has got to be, it's a cool place to begin with, and then bad water in your house, where, you just got to go to the nearest church or shelter or whatever they have. So, I don't know, it's pretty weird stuff, you ask me. So, with that, I'll send it back to net control, KD7ZYM, K7ITX.
K7ITX, and we'll hand it to Lee. He's found some buttons to play with. I think that's pretty good. So, coming down is James, WW7N.
W7N here. Dave, how's the audio tonight?
Very clear.
Okay, thank you, Dave. I also got a couple of thumbs up there. Well, I think it might make a difference what version of Zoom you have, and also whether you're a pay member of Zoom or whether you're getting a free version of Zoom. Because I too, it depends on which computer I'm on. I have both two Windows, I think 10 or 11 machines here, I guess Windows 11. And I've got one laptop that doesn't offer me options, and then I've got a really state-of-the-art, very powerful computer that offers me all kinds of options. So the other thing that occurs to me is maybe Zoom is trying to save me because this is a laptop where if I try to do almost anything other than Zoom, it locks up on me and I have to reboot. It's the news tonight I have to bring to the video group. I don't know, it's a pretty small group tonight, so I don't know who's really interested here, but Silva, the actor Silva, died, and you would know him if you saw him. You can look up Henry, S-I-L-V-A, just like the compass. He played all kinds of tough guy roles, and the clip I saw today, I wish I could show it here, but I'm afraid after what I just did, everything else I did, I locked my machine up. But in 1962, a black and white film, The Manchurian Candidate. high-resolution black and white film. So you have to go find one that hasn't been colorized. And you can go to YouTube and just look up Frank Sinatra, Henry Silva, and Shirley Candidate fight scene. And what is amazing about that fight scene, it's a very well choreographed martial arts scene, really ahead of its time. 1962, it incorporated Asian martial arts. They did a very good job for 1962. When you consider that the camera was probably half the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, they were shooting this on wet emulsion film, and they didn't use stunt people, as far as I can tell. They might have used a stunt person at one point. I couldn't really tell, but I think certainly Henry Silva was in very good shape in 1962 and was a real martial artist. So they had candy glass, and they had balsa wood, and they had wet film, but they didn't have CGI, and they didn't have all the other video tricks we have today. So it's worth your time to go to YouTube and look at that one scene, even if you don't want to watch the entire movie, The Manchurian Candidate, which, again, for its time, the fact they shot it on black and white film tells me they didn't think it was going to be a hit film, but people are still watching it today for the examples of many things it shows. Anyway, Leah, I just overheard as I was trying to get my computer booted and a few other things wrapped up. I had another engagement right before this. It sounds like your generator is working, and you say it doesn't make any noise if it's not under load. So that's surprising to me. I figured when you say it doesn't make any noise, so that means wind noise or mechanical noise or both. In other words, I don't know what the span of the blades are on you or what you have, or if the tips ever break the sound barrier. So I'm just kind of curious to know, are we talking something that has like 3-meter wings on it, or is it bigger than that? Or is it very small? Is it a small little propeller like I would wear on the top of my beanie? Anyway, that's the question I have. Sorry for coming in here late. I was able to get the repeater turned on, so let me turn it back on net control. Dave, KD7ZYM. This is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. Take it away, Dave.
WW7N, this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City, and get an idea in here. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the O8 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's see, I was looking at TV, and UW took on Michigan 39 to 28, 29 to 26. So it was really a good game from UW. As I said, they got a new quarterback that really shines, and I don't know, might be the next Russell Wilson coming out of the UW, but very talented young man. So that's about all I've got to relay to that. So let's move on to Larry, KI7GST.
Sorry, I was connected. N7UDN. Can you hear me? Okay. Well, let me turn my system. Okay, can you still hear me now? Okay. I just muted my computer so I can talk on the radio. Takes me a while. I'm a slow learner, that's all. I don't have a lot to share with you guys. I'm just trying to get my feet wet here. The more I can learn. I want to see some of this stuff, the videos that you guys do, the skies and the flies and everything else. I'm looking forward to learning some more about that stuff and getting to see some of them. I think I'll learn a lot more once I go to your website and see what's going on. Thanks for putting up with me. I appreciate it. Back to net control. This is the KI7GST.
7GST again. Welcome to the net. Let's go back up to the top to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okie doke. Well, timer's running and so forth, and I really don't have a lot to say. But James, yeah, the prop, I should be able to quote you what the diameter. It's a 3-blade, so it doesn't suffer from the inherent instability of a 2-blade prop. So that's good, and it it doesn't thrash around. When the wind blows steady while it stays put, it doesn't go hunting. So the tail doesn't look very big on it, but it's big enough. And the problem here is that it's only about 25 feet from some pretty thick trees, which is right in the direction of our prevailing wind. So it has to be kind of an odd wind off to the side, and so it isn't going to work very well, I know that. But when it was running, it was going so fast that I couldn't see the propeller. It just really was spinning fast. And it's not 4 feet quite, maybe it is 4 feet across it. Anyway, and it's not making any mechanical noise, that is, it's not rattling the structure it's on or anything like that. I put up a pretty sturdy system to hold it. And the wind noise, I have heard them run before, especially when we had at the University of Washington the geophysics years ago, when we were considering powering some of the seismic equipment in the field with a wind generator. So we bought one from Australia, and then one of the fellows, Sam Mandion, and it was on the top of Atmospheric Sciences building on the tower, but you couldn't see it from the ground, right? And when the wind would really blow, it sounded like a Piper Cub taking off. Around on down below, looking up to try to figure where the airplane was. So I remember those days. It was a wooden blade that had a copper foil on the leading edge, so that impinging birds probably wouldn't hurt it. Anyway, so they did. They put it up on a glacier, and the first windstorm came, they never found it. It blew it so far, nobody ever was able to locate it. So we gave up on that. Anyway, with that, Dave, I'm done. I spent my 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and it's back to you. N7KC, Lee at Port Angeles.
KC. Well, with a short group, it sure comes around fast. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, here we go. Here's Lee's got on the screen, and I've got it up on YouTube. And Larry, by the way, we're live right now. If you were to be on our website and you pressed the streaming button, you would see this broadcast right now that you see on video. And or you don't have to go to our website. You could go to Zoom and search for WW7ATS. I believe that's what I use. Or you can even, I think, Western Washington Amateur TV Society. But WW7ATS, I believe, works just fine. Yeah, you'll see. I'm not sure that it's not going to be all that entertaining, but once in a while, I have pictures of sports cars and stuff like that. And of course, here we go with Lee, and we're looking at today's sea level pressure, and yeah, there it is. It's dropping. It's just dropping like I'm watching it drop on mine. Yeah. That's pretty cool. And let's see, 29.8. Yeah, I'm not sure about mine. I have a feeling I might have it. Oh, I'm not at sea level, so I have 29.29 on mine, but I never calibrated it, nor do I know how to calibrate it. That seems kind of low compared to the graph that Lee has here, but I'm sure Lee's is a lot more sensitive than what I have. PSRG, and it just so happened, Larry is a Korean War veteran, or I think you are, Larry. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Vietnam War veteran. Maybe okay, go ahead.
You saw my antenna come up. That's kind of cute. Yeah, Vietnam, KS7GSP. I took action in Hispaniola, if you guys remember that. KS7GSP.
Correction on that, Larry. So, what got Larry and I kind of connected it right when he joined, got his license and started checking in for the first time. I was right in the middle of reading a lot of biographies, particularly the Choson Reservoir conflict in the Korean War, and I was just fascinated by it, and several other biographies, maybe not necessarily from Vietnam and things of that nature. And Larry, being a veteran, was able to help me understand some of the things I was reading. So, and then saw him at a couple picnics, and I set him up with my dad's. Up with my dad's 2-meter radio. God, I can't even remember. I guess it was probably, might have been a Kenwood, but it's an oldie. In fact, I remember when I got it going for Larry, I said, whatever you do, don't turn it off. The off and on, the power button was broken, so what I think Larry was doing was turning it off with a, one of those extension cords with the, it was a power strip that has the on-off button on the power strip. So that's how he always made sure that the radio would stay alive. But it was just some way to get him into PSRG before they had their what do you call it, voter receiving ability, and so. He was down to 5, and I got him up to 35, I think, at that time. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it. And here's a lot more guys in this. I mean, it's not, generally speaking, I think we have at least 6, if not 8, and I've seen as many as 10, and I send out invitations to 16. So it's we never know, and this being summer, it can be kind of sparse. But we're on YouTube right now as we speak. I'm not sure how many viewers we have. That can be kind of sparse, but it's fun, especially if you got relatives on the other side of the world. You can say, oh, you got us on YouTube tonight. All right. So with that, KD7ZYM, K7ITX, back to net control.
7ITX. Well, we got another ID in here. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine ID, KD7ZYM. So let's go to James in Bellevue, WW7M.
It has been really sparse turnout, both today and the last net too. Very few people. I remember, it's interesting, Richard, you would have the best statistics of any of us. We had one net, and as I recall, this is maybe just in my mind, but there were 3 rows of people with call signs. So that would be, well, I guess that's only 9. So yeah, maybe we have had just 10 as our max. But it seems to me like we've had a lot of people. It is interesting when you get very large numbers of people in certain, depending on which video product you're using, how it handles that. And one meeting I attend once a month uses a Microsoft product, and it can't show everybody, so it doesn't even try. So you never, unless you actually request a list of who's at the meeting, you don't get that information. So that's something until I got to very large formats, large numbers of people attending, I never considered what a problem that would be for video presentation, a new digital age video presentation problem.
a requirement to have digital meetings as opposed to face-to-face meetings, and how that has expanded some groups. The Western Washington group of Aries, I honestly don't know how they ever had in-face meetings. I guess they all own helicopters or something, because I don't know, with the time of the meeting, it was a weekday afternoon, evening. I don't understand how you would even get to their meeting location unless you flew. The traffic is so bad north-south on the Puget Sound corridor now. I don't understand how they ever did that. But now that they're doing virtual meetings, I think their numbers of people who want to come is going way, way up. And it's going to be interesting to see not only technically how that's handled, but also administratively, if people have something to say, or are they just all listening, or how's that going to go? I found interesting, too, one group I was in March, or maybe it was April, we had our first virtual meeting, and a very large number of people logged into this virtual meeting. And then, I don't know exactly what it was, maybe it was the June meeting or something, but it got dropped down to something like literally from 20 people, 25 people to 6. And then the next meeting there were 3 of us. And I said, what happened? And I guess there was a period of time there where people were really kind of angry about COVID, and they just didn't want to, they wanted to meet face to face. They didn't want to meet on the screen with that particular group. I guess they thought that was letting the virus or the terrorists or the commies or somebody win. I'm not quite sure what. But that was a shame, because other groups went the other direction. So it's always been kind of an interesting social experiment to see which way it goes. Curious to know of the 4 people here tonight, if anybody else has noticed that. Other groups, did they adapt to digital meetings? Did the attendance go up? Did it go down? Did the group, adapt to doing that, or did it adapt and then stop doing that? I'm kind of curious to know what other people's experience has been with digital format meetings online. So this is James, WW7ATS with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Let's turn it back to net control, KD7ZYM.
WW7M, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. Oh my, digital meetings are kind of nice. Got into some that had multiple screens. You'd have to go over to the right side of your computer screen and click a little arrow, and that would open up a new group of pictures and people. However, you would hear the same person that's talking on all of the nets that are being held, or the meetings, I would say. You can't call them nets. But then you just go over to the left-hand side, and you can bring your screens back to another group of 8, 6, or 9. So it was always interesting with that. And you can mute your picture if you wanted to, like you can here, as we do, and then put up your call sign. So a lot of things happened with that. So that's Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's try Larry again, KI7GST.
Well, hello everybody again. I will shift. Unmute. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm talking on the radio, like you said. I just have to say, we do these meetings and we do different clubs, and all of these faces and call signs I recognize from other meetings and other places. So we do cross paths. Kind of interesting. And what else I was going to say? Lake Washington Handcrafts is starting next Tuesday. Is going to have the whole 2 months of technician classes on Zoom. And that's going to be an interesting meeting. I'm going to go to that, and I'll be a participant in that. I usually go into these things as an observer, and they all know how to listen. So I'm looking forward to that, and they put a great project together, and there'll be a lot of training with the new people getting their license. I'm anxious to do that. Always anxious to get involved with that stuff. Back to net control. KD7ZYM, this is KI7GST.
GST, thanks for joining again. Let's go up to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles. the drought area of the state of Washington.
Okay, Lee again, in Port Angeles, in 7KC. Well, now here's the interesting thing. Last Wednesday night, I didn't make the TV net because the local club had their Zoom meeting, and it was okay. You know, they had a couple of whiteboards and whatnot, but we're not able to go back there now because they're now using their facilities for their own training. So we had to look for another spot. So next month we're going to go face-to-face again, but they're going to do a hybrid. They're also going to include a Zoom connection. But we're going to go to the North Atlantic Library System's Carver Room, which is full audio-visual. It's attached to the... It's got... not hearing me? Okay, well anyway, it's got full audio-visual capabilities, lots of chairs and tables if you want them. You know, a nice screen that comes down and a ceiling projector and all that sort of thing. A DAS and microphones and all the sort of paraphernalia you want for good meetings. And we've been there for a number of meetings and it's really nice. So, and that's real close to us too, by the way. It only takes us about 5 minutes to get there, something like that. So anyway, that's kind of fun. The green screen or the background is not going to happen here. The options are not available. I don't believe my computer has the horsepower to pull it off. And I have the latest version of Zoom. I update it constantly. It simply says that there are no screens available for me to use. None, it says. And I remember reading once that if your computer is not 300 horsepower or something like that, forget it. Yeah, you know, they're not even going to give you the option. So Dave, you've got a pretty well-performing computer. I also read, back in the early Zoom days when I was reading a lot about Zoom, that Zoom really was set up for Apple products, and they have the software accommodates Apple. You do not need a green screen if you're an Apple guy and so forth. But if you're not, you're supposed to have it or it's squirrely. And I don't even have the option. So I'm out of time, so I'm going to pass it back to you, Dave. I don't know if we'll get back.
We got that, Lee. Let's go on to Richard, K7ITX.
As far as meetings and Zoom, James, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as traffic is concerned. I noticed, even after the quote-unquote pandemic, it pretty much exhausted itself in a lot of ways. The video conferencing, the Zoom meetings, just kept going on unrelentingly. In fact, all of us in the construction business, as far as general contractors, subcontractors, the actual estimators and project managers, no, I mean, it's the only way. We'll never have meetings in person ever again. I mean, that's quite a stretch. I hate to say never or everything. Obviously I'm embellishing and exaggerating, but I think you know what I mean, that it's going to be not going to be, it now is the normal way for us to have meetings, traffic being one of the number one issues, but probably even, it's just faster, more convenient, you can record it, it just goes on and on and on. The only bad part is WWF down the road, and little do I know. I mean, I guess that's virtual reality. Yeah, I mean, right. Maybe there'll be screens. Dave's got the right idea. We'll be able to touch our hands on, you could, I mean, my God, what did I just think of? I mean, or not, I didn't think of it. No, it just looks away. So, but yeah, no, it's, I really like it a lot because, I mean, geez, I don't have to worry about getting a car accident and all those kinds of things. So, okay, now, Lee's got a little bit of horsepower going. He might not have the virtual background, but he can put, well, it moved now. He was on, okay, there we go. So he figured something out there. That's pretty cool. So, gee whiz, so Larry, normally we have more than this, I think, as we get into the fall as far as participants. But we never know. And a couple of our main people aren't on board tonight. One guy's celebrating a birthday. It's sure fun to have you on board and get some of your input on your experience with Zoom, that's for sure. So, golly, yeah, I'm running out of things to talk about, and maybe someone else might say something that gets my attention. And I was going to ask Lee if you could hear the sprint boats a couple weeks ago. I think they had a big event not too long ago, and I had a sports car race that I was at. Otherwise, because I want to see those boats again, but I don't know, maybe not. Sports car racing is a lot more important to me now at this point. KD7ZYM, K7ITX, back to net control.
ITX, and it's time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, next up is James in Bellevue, WU7N.
Well, thank you, Dave. WU7N here in Northeast Bellevue. Well, I think hybrid meetings are really the way to go. I mean, maybe you satisfy everyone. Here's the two problems I've noticed with hybrid meetings, particularly pulling in with one group who went virtual meeting, and then just as soon as they could, for some odd reason, they went back to face-to-face meetings, but they had so many people demanding the virtual meeting continue, they pretty much had to do it. But the problem is twofold. First, you need almost a technical producer on site to manage the virtual side of the meeting. And the second thing you really need to have is you need to have some sort of a microphone, and it's almost like Native American councils where you pass a talking stick. And I've noted a couple older people say this to me fascinates me in this day and age. I assume if I'm at any meeting, this meeting or any other, obviously we're getting all over the internet, that you're recorded, you're videoed, your face is all over the place, your voice, every single thing you say is saved for millions of years probably in the digital world. But it's interesting that some older people, they'll start talking and you interrupt them and you hand them the microphone, and now they're like nervous about what they're saying. Obviously this is not an amateur radio group. You hand a ham radio operator a microphone, it's hard to get it away from him. But I found that was an interesting phenomenon, and, even one man kind of got flustered, and, well, if anybody really wants to hear what I'm saying, they should just come here. And I think someone talked to him after the meeting saying, well, you got a lot of voting people in that group that aren't there, and, what you're saying is important, so adapt, as they said about the Borg on Star Trek, just adapt. So, anyway, I think the virtual meetings are the way to go, but with this one group, I said, you guys need a producer on site is what you need. And they said, well, gee, could you come? And I go, well, that would kind of destroy the point of it because that's an hour and a half drive for me. So I'm willing to be a volunteer, but maybe there's volunteerism has limits. Looks like we're about 5 minutes before the top of the hour here. So thank you for letting me know your experiences for the last 2.5 years. I was looking at some of the pictures that I have collected, and the one that I think is one of the funniest in a very sad sort of way, is the paramedics are carrying somebody out of a house, and it's Halloween, October, and he had set up Halloween, so there is a caricature of a mannequin of death that is standing on the corner of the porch, which was supposed to be, for the Halloween celebration, but yet the paramedics are carrying someone out of the house. Maybe it's not supposed to be funny, maybe it has a sick sense of humor, I don't know, but maybe I'll see if I can dig that picture up and show it and see if you guys think it's funny or not. This is WW7N. Let's turn back to net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society.
7N. I was thinking after watching something on television this last week where ham radio originated from, and the program I was watching said ham came from vaudeville act, and people that were amateurs, to take the makeup off their face, they couldn't afford wonderful makeup removers, so they used ham juice or ham grease, and that would cut the makeup on their face and remove it. So they started referring to them as ham actors, and so that's where the ham acting came from. So I was wondering if that was a leftover of what came to ham radio, based that we're kind of an amateur group. So the term ham came to us. I don't know if that was it, but that was interesting. It was the ham juice for the amateurs to remove the makeup, but I imagine we don't have too much ham juice with us right now, so that's good. Anyway, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and I'm going to go up to Lee, N7KC, to finish it off.
Okay, very good. Well, we just got a couple of minutes here, so let me be quick. The other thing that's going on in Fort Angeles, yes, Richard, yes, we can hear them. We're just 3 miles from the course, and those engines easily make the distance. The other thing that's going on here in Port Angeles this weekend is the BMX Gold Cup. Right over here between the airport and the fairgrounds is the most wonderful BMX track. It's really, really nice. They have 2,000 competitors over there right now. Paula came by it today, and it's in full swing. It's about a 4-day event. 2,000 competitors from all over the Western States and Canada. And it's like a city over there. It's just amazing how many people show up for that. It's very popular. They have a very, very nice track. They take very good care of it. So with that, 7-3 guys, it's good to see you. Larry, it's fun to see you on the screen. Come back anytime. And the rest of you birds, we'll see you down probably in a couple of minutes. In 7KC. Dave, back to you. 7-3, everybody.
N7UVN disconnected.
7KC, thanks for that. And it's time to button up the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for allowing us to use WW7STR's repeater, referred to as the 08 machine, 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.
27 West,